So I wasn't recording when I was doing this. I thought I hit the record button, but what I was doing was building this. What you're going to do is get your M2 by 8, get your sprocket on to, I think I already got the video of that, and then once you get your sprocket onto your coupler, your drum coupler, then you're going to grab your pinch ring and your pinch ring mount. Okay, and you're going to slide the pinch ring mount over the pinch ring so it looks just like this. It'll be nice and wobbly. And then we'll go ahead and grab our M2 by 10 millimeters and screw that all in. And you want to make sure that there's no gap in between any of these pieces here as far as what you're screwing together. So screw them nice and tight, and you should be good to go. So once you get your pinch ring and such done, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our assembly here. Kind of looks like an engine right here, like a case. So we'll go ahead and get our assembly here, and we're going to drop our 7mm balls here, and then we're also going to fill up the inside of this one as well. So let's go ahead and do that, and I'll show you guys how I do this part first, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the one up there. I'm off camera. So with this one, because there's not much way it's going to fall, just start dropping them in, or nowhere for them to fall really. You might want to do this on like a towel or something, just in case you drop any of these. Sit down. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. I kind of have it at an angle to where they're just rolling backwards. I think there's 77 of these per side. Not too sure I remember the exact number, and I actually wasn't counting here. And I know it looks like we can get one more in there, but you're not going to be able to get it, trust me. So just leave that space there. Let me just make sure that there isn't one more that can go. Yeah, so you're not going to be able to get that one in there. You will fight it and actually bind it. So just leave it just like that. Okay, that spins nicely, real nice. So then what we'll do is we're going to move up to this one up here, and we're going to fill this one up. And I'm going to actually do that one off camera, because I can't hold it and do it I mean, I could, but I just don't want the balls to go everywhere. So we'll be right back.
It's critical.
So we're going to put our assembly on here. And then we're going to, remember the ball's going to be in there. Alright, you can hear them. Sounds good, so we'll go ahead and get it lined up. Go ahead and get our screw in here. This is the M3 by 12. Alright, and we're just going to make sure that we are lined up with our hole. And there she is. She drops in there. We're going to go ahead and just get it until it starts to move down just a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and get the rest of them in there. Just give me a second to go ahead and get that one in. Okay, so I only put 2 in here right now, but essentially now you'll see I tightened it down until there was just enough resistance to where it doesn't want to just free spin. Okay, and it still spins nicely, but that chain and that motor is going to be able to handle it real well. So we'll go ahead and get the rest of them tightened just like that. And then again, you just make sure that it doesn't just spin, you know, when you spin it like that, but just give it a little bit of resistance to where it kind of stops on you. And then we can adjust it after we get that, after we get them all tightened or all in there, and then we can start to kind of play with it. And but as long as we know that the balls won't fall out anymore, we're good to go. So you can see the goal here is to make this line equal all the way around. So let's go ahead and work on that.
The Boulder Police Department found 2 items that they thought might be involved with the injury to John Benet's head. There was the Ramsey's baseball bat that was found outside Ramsey's house. There was also the
Alright guys, so I actually lost audio here. What you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and start building your drum. You're going to start with the first drum. It's going to be the 4mm drum, number 1. And what we did is you want to make sure that you line up the spirals all the way up. Okay, so you might have to turn it and adjust it and all that. But when I got to this end, I actually glued that piece on the drum end after I had built this. So essentially, you'll start with drum 1, or excuse me, drum 4mm drum 1. Okay, go and install your pinch ring, or excuse me, your coupler, and continue to build that. Just follow the instructions on that. I will try and add a little bit better instructions for the drum portion. All right, and then what we're gonna do is I like to flip it up, put the whole machine on its side, and then I'll put the drum, after I build the drum in assembly, I will set it on top, and then I'll line up the inner spiral. Make sure we do that. If you don't do that, it's going to look funny, and it might trap some dirt in there. It might still work, and you probably won't even notice the way it looks because it's on the inside. But anywho, we'll go ahead and start tightening it down. Grab your M2 by 10mm screws, and then again, line up that inner spiral, and let's go ahead and start tightening it down. It's a lot easier to do this from the first one. So essentially, how I have the machine on its side, instead of building the drum like I did, I had this pre-built before the video. But instead of doing it like how you see it in the video here, what you could do is start with that 4mm drum, the first one, and then start installing it, and then put your coupler, and then the next drum, coupler, next drum, coupler, and it's a lot easier, and it will make it to where the driver, or the hex driver, is straight up and down. But either way, this is the way that I install it onto the whole hopper and the whole hopper assembly, excuse me. So go ahead and do that all the way up, and then we'll continue on with the next step. I'll speed it up through this. Okay, so once you get it done, or all the screws in, go ahead and make sure that it spins freely. I have a little bit of resistance here. I'm not too worried about it because of the way it's sitting. Once I get I set it down and get the walls on, we can make some final adjustments, somewhat. Right now, it'll be okay. These are our newly printed parts. We're talking about plastic with metal, or against metal. So don't worry too much if there's a little bit of resistance. The motors that we're using are very strong, and it will be able to spin it. Kind of work those bearings in and kind of make a groove themselves if the print isn't fully round. So you can see here I'm adjusting the screws on the outside to help it spin a little bit more freely, but also make sure that that pinch ring mount is even all the way across. Okay, so we're going to continue gluing. I already did this one side. I did it without the audio. So we'll do the next one. You're going to do one exactly like that, which is going to be this one. Okay, so you're going to take the upper front wall, and then you're going to go ahead and just lay it down, and you'll notice mine's different colors. I ran out of filament right at the end. And then we're just going to do this one side first, get these upper parts done, and we're just going to do big old blobs. You don't need to put a bunch on there. And then we'll do this one front edge. And that one we'll do just regular, we won't do blobs. Okay, and then we'll line it up. I'm sure you guys can't really see all that well, but we'll just line it up. I put my fingers there, and we're looking pretty good. Okay, so what we'll do, move it to this edge, and I'll grab my clamps. All right, and we'll push them together again, make sure that they're good. Looks like they need to come down just a bit. That feels good. Alright. If you have the accelerator, you can do that. Just make sure your glue is really far away. Not really far away, just way out of the way. I'm not going to do that. It'll glue, or it'll set off pretty quickly. That's what is this one? 10 to 15, or excuse me, 10 to 25. So we'll just let it sit there for a few minutes, even like a minute. I'm impatient, so we're going to go ahead and move on to this one. Alright, so we'll just make sure everything looks good. One side had support on it. I can dig it. So we'll do the blobs. And because there was support on this one, I'm going to do just a little bit bigger blobs. I'm going to have to go a little bit deeper. I think what I'll end up doing when you guys build this, or for the newer version, these will be screwed together with some M3s. I didn't want to do that with this one when I was originally building it, because it's going to kind of get in the way of like a loader, the bucket on a loader. So let's say you put some screws right here to screw this together. This is the higher part of the wall, so probably loader might not hit it, but it could. It comes in close to this wall to get the edge. It might hit that, and the loader's a lot stronger than it looks. It'll probably just pick this plastic thing up. So anyways, I decided to glue mine. Just thinking about that and kind of hearing how silly it is, there's always a solution. I'll just use some countersunk screws, some M3x10 countersunk flatheads, and we'll do that for the next ones. Another thing, when I originally built this, I didn't actually print these walls. I made them out of wood, and then I provided the walls for anybody that wanted to make these or print them instead of making them out of wood. So I really didn't test these when I first did it. And I just put in a couple extra clamps right here. It looks like it's not as even, so. And that's just to push down on it. It should be good. This glue dries relatively quick. Okay, so you can see that this is how it's going to go. So let's go ahead and lay some glue down here. And I'm going to lay it down on this other one, on the lip. Alright, so before you drop it down, it's going to kind of, with all this glue on here, it's going to kind of suck it down and keep it there. So just line it up and just let it drop. Use your finger, and it actually slides around really nice, so don't listen to what I was saying. And then this is the side that we want. This side isn't as important as this back side. You want to make sure that this back side is flush, because this is actually going to get screwed in to the back walls. So we'll just pull it close, push on it, do everything we got to do. And then I think what we can do is get a clamp right here. And then we'll see if we can squeeze on there. And we'll leave that for, a minute or two. And then we built that guy. And then what we'll do is start getting this one last one. And you'll wonder, oh, this one's opposite of the other one. And it is. So this is going to be the wall that's right underneath the beginning of the conveyor. And it's opposite of the other side. Or the other two, excuse me. And if you're building the one with the three separate drums, you're going to actually make 3 of these walls here. Alright, so I'm going to call that good. Oh yeah, we actually had some pull through, which is fine. I may paint this in the future, but it's going to get dirty anyways. So we'll set that down, and then let's go ahead and do the same exact thing. Just the opposite, I guess, with all the parts. You guys are screwing together. It's going to be 3 by 10s. Make sure that all looks smooth. No part looks a little funky. So on this. This is why we glue things. It looks like it's stuck in here. There's actually some leftover printing. So we have a gap here. But I think we'll be able to, oh shit. It wasn't too good. Well, that helped us in. A little more on that one this time. So we'll get it pushing really hard now. We'll line it up. I'm going to go and spray it real quick. And switch together. Okay, so that's still going to be here underneath there. What we're going to do is we're going to get this glued. I'll get it together and then glue it up here together. I'm going to put it on. It will smooth nose. Doesn't matter. And we'll do a little on this side. Remember, we're lining up this side. That's the more important side. Get a little in there. I'll do that. We just want to make sure this side looks good. And that does. So go ahead and switch them together. We'll put them over here. We'll grab this. Just help us out. Looks pretty good. We're going to glue together anyways. So this is our end wall. This is going to be like right underneath the sprocket. Alright. And then this is going to be for underneath the hopper on one side. So if it's nice, we're going to put it here. But I think it's going to be this line. That's going to be on the bottom. That looks good. We're not holding it, so I think we'll be alright. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to use this up before I get it all together. Get the support out here. Alright. Get this up away from glue. Let's do this one more time. I'm just going to check this one over here is looking. Just want to make sure that we're nice and the right pretty good. So let's go ahead and dab her up. And we'll do the inside part on this one. Gonna get together. Well, I'll use that as you can, but this is an early manufacturing sort of office a little bit. I'm not a perfectionist, but I do want things to be as close as possible. That's my issue. So do that. We'll do it over here. Oh yeah. I'm gonna grab some of this and see if we can get to squeeze down in there. Oop, I almost got myself. I'll probably just flip it over. Just do it again. And grab a tray. Stuff's not so sweet. I think whatever it is. Alright, so in theory, that stuff should have seeped down inside of there, and locked it up in there pretty good. So we're going to assume that it did. Okay, so as they came off the printer, I labeled these, except for these ones apparently. So you can see I labeled all of these, and then I'm going to look at the instructions, and I'll see where they need to go. Alright, lower back wall 4, lower back wall 3. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing that we've been doing. I'm going to glue those together. I think, yeah, you guys are going to be gluing them too. Oops. I put a lot more glue than I want to. Don't just wipe it on your guys' clothes. These are my building sweats. Okay. I don't think there's any pressing involved in that one. So I'm just going to go ahead and spray it. Wipe it down. I'm going to go ahead and set that one to the side. Okay, so that's again our back wall 3 and our back wall 4. Alright, so what we'll do is we're going to grab our lower back wall 1 and our lower back wall 2. Okay. So let's go ahead and get this right here. Let's be smart this time. Let me grab a towel. Alright, set that over here. I am going to use a clamp on this one. I really like this accelerator, it's nice. So then you notice that the two assemblies that we just did, they get screwed in just like that. And that actually goes on in front of the panels. Make sure that we got nothing here. Alright, so we did that. So let's go ahead and do the upper portions of those. So this is going to be the upper back wall 2. So we'll lay that down just like this. And then we're going to go ahead and grab our upper back wall 1. Alright, so our upper back wall 1 is going to be the exact same thing as this one, like that one. It's going to be 10 millimeter shorter than one of them, than upper back wall 3. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and grab number 2, upper back wall 2, upper back wall 1. Do the same exact thing as we did with the lower walls. Such a habit to do it. Okay, set to the side, grab our goods. set that aside. Going to take our upper back wall 4 and our upper back wall 3. Now, depending on how many drums you're doing, you may need to continue. You may need to do this with one more. Oh shit! I'll have to beep that out. In case you guys don't know what this is, it's just an Instasat. It's an accelerator. It's made by Bob Smith Industries. This is done here in America. So you might have different brands over there. I think it's done in America. Shit, hopefully I don't eat my words. I'm not sure. It could be from somewhere else, but well, yeah, it says made in the USA. So I don't know if they sell anywhere else, but. Alright, cool. So now you'll notice our uppers are done. Okay, so a little bit more gluing though. And what I'm doing here is just lining them up on the edge, but I'm paying more attention to this side because this side actually gets is like an underlap for this other portion here. So I'm gonna go ahead and lock this side down. That way I can push. Let's move this out of the way. See if it's stuck. Oh no, nice. So flip it over and we'll just gonna do the same thing. And even if your guys' is kind of like bowed up and bowed around, it gets screwed in, and there's gonna be some weight on it. So I don't think we should worry too much about it. So that's gonna be the one side. So let's go ahead and get this side. So with this one, I'll place the lower one on that one. Go and glue her. So with this one, we just want to make sure that they're both looking good because this side gets screwed in, and then so does this side here. And that actually looks and feels great. Okay, that should be it for gluing. Okay, so that's going to sit just like this, but actually, oops, like that. Okay, so this will be our, right here is the sprocket, middle of the drum, end of the drum right here. So just like that. No, like that.